Here are 5 things that made me multiple 8 figures as a full-time investor. So guys, number 1, using leverage. So whenever I invest into something, I always want to prove the concept first. And once I'm confident with it, once I know I can be consistent, once I know this is something that I've proven already, then I start looking into options for leverage. I look at different ways that I can access capital from the bank. Maybe it's a credit card, maybe it's some sort of loan, maybe a line of credit, right? Maybe there are actually people who want to partner with me on investments like this and provide capital for these investments. Once I've figured out the process as an investor, now my job is to find additional capital so that I can scale it further. Because once you find something that works, it doesn't really make sense to go out and try to figure something else out, because you've already found something that works. It's producing income for you consistently. Now you just have to pour more capital into that investment and scale it. So using leverage can really help you accelerate your path to being a full-time investor, because it gives you access to so much more capital. It allows you to leverage not just your own personal cash that you worked hard for, but it actually lets you leverage the bank's money, which is the best part about it. We call that OPM. OPM simply stands for other people's money. And when you're using the bank's money, now you have, maybe instead of $100,000 invested, maybe you have 10 million or 100 million. If you have $100 million of the bank's money that you're using for your investments, well, that really starts scaling quickly. Now your $100,000 investment that you had used previously, it seems pretty small, right? You might be making $100,000 a month at this point. And so now that you have a system proven, now that you have a process that you use, using leverage can just help you accelerate that and make a lot more money as an investor. So as long as you're keeping track of how much you're paying to use that leverage, and it makes sense financially to keep investing that leverage and making passive income that way, it may be a viable option for you to use that leverage, pour it all into that investment, and use passive income coming out of that investment to pay off that debt. And even if you're just breaking even, keep in mind, guys, if you're literally just breaking even on this investment and you're making just enough to make your payments plus interest, let's say you got a $10 million loan from the bank. And so you're making interest plus principal payments every single month of, let's say, $10,000. And let's say you invested that $10 million into an investment and it's actually producing only $10,000 every month. Well, you might look at it and be like, wow, this doesn't really make sense for me to invest here, because every month I make only $10,000 and that's exactly how much I have to pay for my loan. Well, let's say it's a 15-year loan. So if you're making those $10,000 a month payments for 15 years, right? And that's all you ever make from that investment, you don't have any net cash flow for 15 years. But in 15 years, that loan is fully paid off. And so now you fully paid off your $10 million loan. And I know the math is totally wrong on that, guys, but just as an example, whatever the term of your loan is, you pay off your loan and now you have access to $10 million free and clear. There's no loan attached to it. That 10 million is still invested into whatever you invested into, right? So in the end, you really made 10 million over the course of 15 years. So if you can get access to more leverage, that opens up a lot more opportunity for you. Number 2 is keeping track of everything that comes in and everything that goes out. So I love Excel spreadsheets. And I use Excel spreadsheets for just about everything, because it allows me to keep track of every single amount that's coming into my business and every single amount that's going out. And so by keeping tabs on it, I know exactly what's going on in my business. I know exactly what's going on with each investment. And that allows me to track my top performers. So now, if I have everything in a spreadsheet, I have my entire portfolio in a spreadsheet, I can literally use that spreadsheet to track my highest performing investments and my lowest performing investments. And so quarterly or semi-annually, or maybe just annually, I take a look at my investments and I decide, okay, well, this investment only made XYZ, right? But this investment right here made 4 times as much. So maybe I should reallocate some capital from here, the underperforming investment, to something that performs a lot more. Number 3 is staying consistent and disciplined with my investing. Whenever I invest, I always want to make sure that I'm staying consistent, because investing is a long game. It's not something quick. It's not a get rich quick thing. You have to invest consistently and you have to stay disciplined to your investment plan. That investment plan is created for a reason, and that investment plan is going to guide you down your path to be a successful investor. So if you start breaking those rules, well, you're really just stacking up the odds against yourself. And I know it might seem, oh, well, I might just break this one rule, it's okay. No, you have to follow those rules really consistently, and you have to stay disciplined. Otherwise, the whole plan fails. The entire investment plan that you created, it literally could just fall apart because you're ruining the whole math behind it. So as an investor, you have to keep in mind that Everything is very rule based when it comes to your investment plan, and you have to stick to it. Don't deviate from that plan that you created, because that plan is what allows you to create passive income consistently and retain status as a full-time investor. Number 4 is looking at the bigger picture. So sometimes we can really get zoomed in on the day-to-day, and we're like, wow, today was such a bad day in the whatever market, right? Maybe it's stocks, maybe it's real estate, forex, whatever it is. Wow, today was such a bad day, this is horrible, maybe a bad month, right? But if we look at the larger picture, if we look at the macro, oh wow, actually, you know what? I've outperformed every other investment that I've ever had in my entire life if I look at year-to-date performance, or if I look at my last 6 months. So you have to look at the bigger picture, not just in track record, but also where is the industry going? Is this industry growing? Is it expanding? Is it likely that I'm going to continue making more money? Is it likely that my assets are going to get more valuable? Is the industry trending in that direction where I'm going to make more money by continuing to invest into this thing, this asset, whatever it is? Maybe it's real estate, maybe it's exotic cars, maybe it's collector's items, right? Maybe you started a museum and now you have all these collector's items, and that's exactly where the industry is going. And then, you know, XYZ is happening, and all these things are really aligning for that investment to be super successful. So you have to pay attention to the bigger picture and what's going on around you, not just in your own personal portfolio. And number 5, this is probably one of the most important ones, is being ready for opportunities. Whenever you have some capital to invest, it's important that you don't tie it up into things that are mediocre or subpar. You have to keep some capital on hand to be ready to invest when the opportunity presents itself. The most successful investors are made when they have opportunities, number 1, but number 2, they also have the ability to take advantage of those opportunities. So number 1, they're prepared, but number 2, they also have capital to allocate to these investments, because you could have all the opportunities in the world, but if you don't have capital to take advantage of them, if you're not ready, if you don't have the right mindset yet, if you don't have a trading plan or an investment plan in place, and you see the best opportunity of your entire life and you can't take advantage of that, well, that's probably one of the hardest things as an investor, seeing an opportunity of a lifetime and not being able to take advantage of that opportunity for whatever reason. So make sure you're ready, make sure you're always prepared to take action when the opportunity strikes, and it's also timely action, right? So we're not delaying, we're not taking forever to take action. When we get the opportunity, we take it and we run with it. All right, guys, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.